Hi friends, welcome back to my channel. My name is Toki, and today's video is the first part of a complete and in-depth tutorial on how the drawing software IbisPaint works. This tutorial is 100% all beginner friendly, which means it doesn't matter if you're just starting to do digital art or if you're switching from a different drawing software like Clip Studio Paint or Procreate, then this tutorial is for you. First things first, we're going to get into the basics of IbisPaint's interface, starting with the screen you get once you open the app. Once again, this is a basic tutorial where I'm going to be explaining all the basics that you need to know to get started with drawing. In the future videos, I'm going to start going more in depth with different features and things you can do with them, but for now, I'm just teaching you how to actually use the app. So when you first open the app, you should see a screen that looks like this, and you click on the paintbrush with my gallery underneath to see all the cool art you're going to make once you finish this tutorial. Once you're in your gallery, you're going to go up to the corner of the screen and click the plus sign to make a new canvas. If you're on mobile, this plus sign will be on the bottom left corner of the screen, but if you're on the computer or an iPad, it should be on the top right, and that stripe of black that goes across the top or bottom of the screen. Once you click this, a little pop-up called New Canvas will appear, and this is where you can customize the size of your canvas or pick from one of the pre-made sizes below, whatever you want. You can also import a picture, as you can see, and sometimes I do this when I'm using a reference for when I practice. You can do whatever you want for the canvas, like make your own or pick a pre-made one, but for this video, I'm just going to be using a square canvas. Once you open your canvas, you should see something like this on your screen. This is the canvas, this white part. This is where you're going to be actually drawing. And if you're on an iPad or a laptop, on the side of the screen, you'll see a whole bunch of symbols. But if you're on mobile, they won't all be visible at once. Instead, you have to go down to the bottom of the screen and click on the brush or eraser symbol, and then you'll see all the other buttons pop up. We're going to go through each of these buttons one by one in a later video, but for now we're going to focus on the actual interface of IbisPaint. We're going to start with the light gray strip on the bottom of the screen where you'll see little icons, and the first icon is one that has both the brush and the eraser with arrows pointed at each of them. This is just a little button that lets you switch between the brush and the eraser tool more easily, which it's a very nice tool. It helps with quality of life and it just makes things overall easier. Beside that, you have a circle with the color of the brush you're using and a small number. This number represents the thickness of the brush you're using, and if you click on this circle, you can change the thickness. You can also change both the thickness and the opacity of a brush by going up to the two sliders above the gray area and sliding those back and forth. This is how I change the thickness and the opacity. Next, if you look beside the circle, you'll see a square that is the same color, and this is where you pick your colors when drawing. If you click on the square, a little menu with a few colors should pop up. Yours won't be this full though, because I already have lots of colors saved, so mine's a bit more full. The way you save colors like this is by holding down those large rectangles and then dragging down to any empty checkered area, then releasing. Beside the colored square, you'll see a down arrow, and all this does is hide the actual drawing interface and leaves you with just the canvas. I personally don't use this that much, but if you're the type of person that prefers a clearer workspace and less distraction when you're drawing, then this might be something that you use. Next, you'll see what looks like a stack of white pieces of paper with a number on the top one. This is where you'll see your layers, and that number represents how many layers you have. And if you click on these squares, you can see all your layers at once. As you can also see, when you open these layers, you get access to a lot more complicated tools like clipping and alpha, lock, selection, all that stuff. I'll be explaining those in a future video. Now that we've gone through all the things on the bottom of the screen, let's move up to the top where we see 7 gray circles with symbols inside of them. The ones on the left side are just the redo and undo buttons, so I won't go over those. The first on the right side, when you click, allows you to add a reference window, which could help you see your full artwork when you're zoomed into a small area. This is a really helpful tool, and Procreate also has a thing similar to this where you can see your full canvas when you're zoomed in. I don't know if Clip Studio Paint does something like this, but if it does, then that's cool. This bubble also lets you add a grid, which that really helps if you prefer having a grid when you draw. The next circle is the selection properties one, and it's a bunch of actions you can perform once you've selected something with the lasso tool, which once again is a tool that we'll be going over in another video. Next, we have the stabilizer, a very helpful tool that automatically makes all your lines straight. If you have trouble drawing straight lines like me, then this tool is a lifesaver. You also have the force fade, which is a more advanced tool that we're going over in another video. The next bubble is the ruler tool, which lets you put down any type of ruler you want, including one to help you draw a perfect circle, a symmetry ruler, a perfect oval ruler, and one of those rulers that lets you make one of those mandala type artworks. I don't know if you know what I mean, but it's like you separate the canvas into multiple parts and then you draw something and it shows up on all the parts and makes a cool effect, kind of like that. I don't know if I explained that really well, but The next bubble is materials, and this is basically a catalog that's really helpful if you're looking for a background, a pattern, or even tracing a sketch to help study pose and anatomy. I personally don't use this all that much, but I do highly encourage you to go check it out, especially if you're a new artist. Anyway, that's all I'm going to go over for today. I hope this video served its intended purpose and assisted in getting you started on your IbisPaint journey. Keep an eye out for the next part of this tutorial where I'll be going over all the brushes and all the tools that will help you get started even more on your journey for IbisPaint and get you even further. I'm sure that everybody who watches the tutorial will go on to be a successful artist and make amazing art using IbisPaint X, and I wish you all a fantastic rest of your day, afternoon, or night. Happy creating!